Nathalie Bankhead is working hard to restore her deteriorating health. She's been seeking treatment through Dr. Peter Osborne with Town Center Wellness. She was teaching French at Klein High School last year. When she was moved to a different classroom, she says she immediately got a headache, and it happened every time she walked in the room.
And within a few hours, I started to have a really bad headache. And then we were moving my classroom, and then a couple days later, when the class started, I started to have asthma attacks.
Nathalie says her health began to decline, so she began to ask for help, especially when she noticed this. She says black mold was growing on the vents.
I did file a complaint, and they did clean the vents, and that helped. And Dr. Osborne advised me to buy an air purifier for the classroom. And that was in January, so that helped me.
She even started taking asthma medication, but she says the mold grew back.
It was a hard decision for me to be, can I make it a year? But as I saw every week my health going down and having chronic cough and feeling worse.
Sometimes a mold response is kind of like a low burning fire, as opposed to the fire that just, burns the house down immediately. It's a low smoldering fire that just continues to chronically degrade a person's health.
I am feeling so much better.
Rhonda Topping knows the feeling, but she was slightly offended when Dr. Osborne suggested she check for mold in her home.
The first thing you think is, I don't have a mold. I know my house. I'm a pretty nice, house cleaner, and so I knew I didn't have a mold, and so I was like, ah.
This isn't her home, but it turns out her house was full of black mold like this. It was living between the walls, and it was also under her car mats. It was smothering her, and she couldn't even see it. She was in and out of the emergency room, and no one could figure out why. She was nauseous. She had headaches. It made her blood pressure spike.
I felt like lightning went from this side to this side. And high blood pressure causes stroke. And it was so painful, it brought me to my knees. And I was just like, oh God, please help me, And that was when I got to get out of here.
Rhonda did move out while her husband continues to rip out walls and tear out mold to help her.
I had to get a brand new apartment, never lived in, new furniture and stuff. I had to get that highest floor so nobody leaks on me. So I kind of refer to myself as Rapunzel in her tall tower.
Dr. Osborne says a lowered immune system is often the first sign of mold exposure. Perhaps someone getting more infections, a heightened sense of allergic reactions, or a sudden onset of chronic coughing and sneezing. Many things can cause mold in your home, something as severe as flooding from a storm. Then humidity sparks the growth. But it can be as simple as just a slow leaking pipe. Or
there's actually a lawsuit going on right now because some of these new front-loading washing machines, they don't get the moisture out, and so they have a tendency to store a lot of mold. And so people with mold allergies who are using these types of machines, we're seeing them react to their clothes because the mold gets into their clothes and it's hard to get it out once it's in.
Well, if you suspect mold exposure, Dr. Osborne says it's important to get a blood test that looks at a delayed response of mold, not just an immediate response through a skin patch test.
Yeah, we also thought it was important to get a response from Klein ISD, and here's what they had to say. Quote, Klein ISD is committed to creating a healthy indoor environment conducive to learning and teaching, and we follow a very strict indoor air quality plan. 2 thorough investigations occurred in response to Ms. Bankhead's complaints. Both investigations included the following. Number 1, a visual inspection. Number 2, temperature and humidity monitoring. 3, HVAC inspection and cleaning. And 4, roof inspections. Additionally, the carpets were cleaned and dried as part of the first investigation. No mold or odors were discovered.
The classroom was found to be dry and free of moisture, and no leaks were detected during the investigations. Additionally, the classrooms in this building have cinder block walls, making it very difficult for mold to grow. The campus administration worked with Ms. Bankhead, giving her the option of moving into another classroom and allowing her to use an air filter in her room.